Sad news coming from Ocho Rios, Jamaica, where a Carnival cruise passenger has passed away. The World Poker Tour making an exciting announcement that they are partnering with a major cruise line to bring a new World Poker Tour at Sea experience to cruisers. We have a cruise line that is being impacted by icebergs, causing the cancellation of cruise ports. We have a cruise that was canceled on the day it was set to start, and we have Carnival Cruise Line announcing that they will start to charge for a dining experience that was previously included on the Carnival Mardi Gras. Just a test, they say. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I am your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for your face. And there is a pile of it today. Quickly, I am coming to you from the MS Rotterdam, and today we are embarking and debarking new passengers here in the port of Amsterdam. The sun is finally starting to come out. It was cold and rainy when we first got here this morning. Tony from the future. It's about 1 p.m. when I am recording this on the 24th of April 2023. But let's process through the cruise news. The first one is a sad one. This occurred in Ocho Rios, Jamaica on Wednesday the 19th of April. A few days ago, a 33-year-old resident of Florida in the United States passed away in Jamaica, drowning in the Blue Hole in Ocho Rios. Those that have cruised to Ocho Rios before know that Blue Hole is a very popular spot for excursions. It's a place where you go hike and you jump off of rocks and cliffs into water there at Blue Hole. Apparently this passenger jumped into the water, did not resurface, and then his body was recovered later. These are the stories that really get to you because it's just a simple thing of, hey, I'm going out to spend my day in a cruise port, which every one of us who cruise, we know that feeling, that excitement of getting up, and then just this shocking reality of not coming back. And so it doesn't say whether or not he was traveling with other folks, but devastating and sad news there from Ocho Rios, Jamaica. Cruise news story number 2, an exciting story for cruise poker players. The World Poker Tour is partnering with Virgin Voyages to put a new experience on the Scarlet Lady called WPT at Sea. This is very exciting because it's going to result in the cruise industry's very first poker room at sea, a dedicated poker room with 8 poker tables with dedicated poker dealers, hosting a variety of cash games and single table tournaments and multi-table tournaments. The tournament buy-ins will range from $80 to $320, with the $320 buy-in being into the main event. Every cruise will have their WPT main event with the potential to win $5,000 that can be applied to a future cruise, or $5,000 that can be applied to a WPT event buy-in. This is certainly going to be interesting. I don't know if this is a play to try to pull more poker players onto Virgin Voyages. I did cruise on the Scarlet Lady. I don't think we're at full capacity. The casino was never really overflowing with people, so it's going to be an interesting and I think maybe a little ambitious to think that they can fill up a poker room with 8 tables worth of poker players. That could be a rarity, but I do run into a ton of people on cruise ships saying, oh, I sure wish there was a poker table. I would like to play in a poker tournament. I'm sure they've run the data on it. I'm sure they have some idea whether or not they can fill up 8 tables of poker on these Virgin Voyages cruise ships. It will be interesting to see how successful this is going forward, but I do like the idea that a big poker brand like World Poker Tour is partnering with a cruise brand to bring poker to the high seas in a unique way. Poker players out there, does this sound interesting to you? Would you try it out? Leave a comment below. Cruise news story number 3, a frustrating story. This involves Cunard and their ocean liner, the Queen Mary 2. Passengers were notified on the day of their cruise that their cruise was canceled because of technical issues. This was supposed to be a transatlantic crossing going from Southampton to New York, but because of technical issues, the cruise that was set to leave on Saturday canceled, and then the return voyage from New York back to Southampton canceled. Now, of course, the people that were set to board in New York had a little more time, at least a week, to process through and make arrangements for their cancellation. But unfortunately, those folks that were boarding in Southampton, there was nothing that they could do but accept whatever Cunard gave them, which was a full refund and a 20% future cruise credit. But could you imagine if you made extensive travel arrangements to end up in Southampton? You came from another country, got a hotel, flew in, all of those things. I'm not sure how Cunard's going to deal with that, if they will be reimbursing or anything like that. It's another cautionary tale to make sure that you have travel insurance in case your cruise is canceled out of the blue like this. But it does happen. Certainly these big vessels do break down, and I can assure you that the goal of the cruise line is never to cancel a cruise. Ideally, they would like to have people on board generating revenue, not giving away future cruise credit. But man, this is a bad situation, really bad for passengers that were looking to board the Queen Mary 2 on Saturday. Are you one of the people impacted by this cancellation? Leave a comment below. Now, the Queen Mary 2, not the only vessel having challenges for their transatlantic crossing. We also have the NCL Dawn making her way from New York to Southampton, and she's had a couple port stops canceled because of bad weather and icebergs. The itinerary for the NCL Dawn had the ship making her way through the northern Atlantic with stops in St. John's in Newfoundland, also with stops at St. Pierre and Miquelon. However, those stops have been canceled because of the said icebergs and bad weather. The ship will continue on to make her way to Reykjavik in Iceland before continuing on across the Atlantic to Southampton. Of course, with so few stops on transatlantic cruises, you can imagine the passengers are disappointed. NCL is providing a $25 onboard credit for the first 2 guests in each stateroom. They're also, of course, refunding any excursions that were booked through the cruise line. And no doubt there are passengers on that cruise ship that are bummed out for missing those port stops. But, you know, as with all things cruising, the passenger and crew safety comes first. Now, I do have to tell you about an interesting dining thing that is happening on a Carnival cruise ship. It's going to be interesting to see what the ramifications from this is. But before I do that, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. It just lets YouTube know that you want to see the video when it comes out. So if you subscribe with the notification bell, YouTube will do its part to present the video to you, and it also helps me out. So if you could please consider subscribing, I would say thank you. Thank you in advance. Now, here's an interesting thing you may or may not know. On the Carnival Mardi Gras and the Carnival Celebration, you can eat at the specialty dining restaurants Chibang and Cucina del Capitano included for free. It doesn't cost you anything extra, where, for example, Cucina del Capitano on other Carnival cruise ships come with a charge if you have dinner there. Cucina is free at lunch, that kind of thing, but they do have a specialty dining price, but not on the Mardi Gras and not on the Celebration. It's actually a really nice perk on those 2 ships that you can eat at those specialty restaurants for dinner without a charge. However, there is a change afoot. What they are currently testing out on the Carnival Mardi Gras is only allowing each passenger to eat for free at Chibang 1 time per cruise. Like I said, in previous cruises, you could eat every night at Chibang for no extra cost, but now they're going to limit that to 1 time per cruise. And if you want to eat at Chibang a second time for dinner, then it's going to be $8 per person. The reasoning behind this is they want to make sure that everybody has ample opportunity to try Chibang. I know when I was on the Celebration, I probably ate at Chibang 2 or 3 nights. Instead of going to the main dining room, we would go to Cucina, we would go to Chibang, and we would do that multiple times because they were included. And so I imagine if I'm doing it, then many other people are doing it. And so Carnival testing out on the Mardi Gras whether or not people will pay for additional nights at Chibang, or maybe they're just trying to adjust the flow of people for dinner time. But yeah, so something that used to be included the 2nd, 3rd, 4th time at Chibang on a cruise, that is now going to be an $8 charge per person. And again, it's being advertised as just a test on the Mardi Gras. It'll be interesting to see if this rolls out to the other restaurants. Cucina, Pig and Anchor, all those places that are, you know, included on Mardi Gras and Celebration, those are still included. So this only impacts the dining at Chibang in the evening. Let me ask you this. Are you a fan of the Chibang? Does this bum you out? Does this bother you at all? Are you a Carnival cruiser? Leave a comment below. Hope everybody's doing good out there on a Monday. It's time to smash that like button. This is Tony for La Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.